Have you ever wondered why typhoons that hit the Philippines often lose their strength before reaching the central parts of the country? Or why, despite the Philippines facing some of the strongest storms in the world, many areas still manage to avoid total devastation? The answer lies in a silent giant that has stood for millions of years, the Sierra Madre. This mountain range isn't just a stunning landscape or a home to countless wildlife species. It's actually the country's first line of defense against nature's wrath. Today, let's dive into how the Sierra Madre protects the Philippines, how it works as a natural shield, and why it's often called the backbone of Luzon. Let's get into it, right here, on History of Simple Things. The Sierra Madre is the longest mountain range in the Philippines. It stretches for over 500 kilometers along the eastern coast of Luzon, from Cagayan in the north, passing through Isabela, Nueva Vizcaya, and down to Quezon and parts of Rizal, all the way to the provinces of Aurora and northern parts of Metro Manila. Imagine a massive wall of mountains running parallel to the Pacific Ocean. That's the Sierra Madre. And this wall plays a very special role. It faces the Pacific, where most of the country's typhoons are born. To put it simply, the Sierra Madre stands between the open ocean and the land, and when strong winds and heavy rains approach from the east, it's this mountain range that takes the first hit. Every year, around 20 typhoons enter the Philippine area of responsibility. Many of them come from the Pacific Ocean, and most head straight toward Luzon. Without the Sierra Madre, these storms would crash directly onto the country's lowlands, areas with millions of people and countless farmlands. So, how exactly does it protect us? When a typhoon makes landfall on the eastern coast, the Sierra Madre's tall mountains act as a physical barrier. The strong winds and heavy rains that hit the mountain range are forced upward, a process called orographic lift. As the moist air rises and cools, it releases much of its rain on the mountain slopes before reaching the inner regions of Luzon. This means that by the time the typhoon moves past the Sierra Madre, its wind speeds have often weakened, and its rainfall has already lessened. In other words, the mountains absorb a lot of the storm's power, sparing the central and western parts of Luzon from even greater destruction. That's why areas west of the Sierra Madre, like Bulacan, Pampanga, and even Metro Manila, often experience weaker versions of the same typhoons that slam into Aurora or Isabela. It's not magic. It's pure geography. The Sierra Madre doesn't make noise. It doesn't appear in breaking news headlines. Yet, every time a storm weakens before hitting Manila, every time floods aren't as bad as they could have been, the mountain range quietly does its job. In 2012, when Typhoon Pablo or Bofa ravaged parts of Mindanao, many experts reminded the public that Luzon's Sierra Madre helps prevent that kind of destruction in the north. Even during Super Typhoon Yolanda, Haiyan, in 2013, which devastated the Visayas, Luzon was spared from its full impact, again, thanks to the protective barrier formed by this mountain range. Without it, typhoons from the Pacific would directly slam into the country's most populated regions, including Metro Manila. A nightmare scenario that could lead to massive loss of life and property. It's fascinating to realize that something as ancient and silent as a mountain range can have such a profound influence on modern life. Unfortunately, despite its importance, the Sierra Madre is under constant threat. Deforestation, illegal logging, mining, and large-scale development projects have damaged many of its once dense forests. When trees are cut down, the soil becomes loose and vulnerable to erosion. That means when heavy rain comes, there's nothing to hold the ground in place, leading to landslides, flooding, and the loss of natural protection. For example, in past typhoons like Ulysses, 2020, flash floods and landslides in Cagayan and Isabela were partly blamed on the reduced forest cover of the Sierra Madre. When the natural buffer weakens, the damage from storms becomes worse. It's ironic, isn't it? The mountain range that protects us is also the one we often fail to protect. Thankfully, awareness about Sierra Madre's importance has been growing. Environmental groups, local communities, and even schools have launched movements to protect and reforest the area. Tree planting drives, conservation projects, and legal actions have been organized to stop destructive developments. Some provinces celebrate Sierra Madre Day every September 26th, a symbolic reminder of the role it played in softening the blow of Typhoon Ondoy in 2009. That event sparked conversations nationwide about protecting natural barriers. Even in pop culture, movies and social media campaigns have begun referring to the Sierra Madre as the Mother Mountain Range, a fitting title for something that nurtures and shields us like a parent would. Still, the challenge remains. Protecting the Sierra Madre isn't just about planting trees, it's about long-term commitment, enforcing environmental laws, supporting local communities that depend on the forest, and rethinking how development and nature can coexist. The Sierra Madre doesn't ask for recognition. It doesn't shout or boast. It simply stands there, tall, green, and resilient, doing its job for millions of Filipinos. The next time a storm hits and we're safe at home, remember that it's not just technology or luck that keeps us safe, it's nature itself. The Sierra Madre is more than a mountain range. It's our guardian, our protector, and our unsung hero. So whether it's by spreading awareness, supporting reforestation projects, or simply appreciating its presence, every small action counts. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.